So often we assume when we're talking about mental health in our youth that we're talking about those kids, someone else's kids. The reality for us in our community and in this nation right now is these are our kids.
I think we had pretty standard, normal Midwest childhood here. We've lived in the same neighborhood our whole lives and went to the same schools, all 4 kids. Thomas as a brother was, he was a good big brother to me. So smart. Science, math were kind of his subjects, so I thought he could go into engineering. He was fascinated with space. He really started to take with the arts, especially around high school. So he took a really interest in painting and drawing, and he was really musically talented. Really piano, that was where he really thrived. He was my first best friend. My earliest memory of Thomas's struggle probably would be his sophomore year of high school. He told me he was gay. He was walking through the schools wearing makeup, high heels, like sometimes, skirts, different outfits, things like that. And so he was obviously struggling with his gender and sexuality and identity. And he was diagnosed with depression, advanced into bipolar depression. That by his freshman year of college, he'd made an attempt on his life. And that's when we knew, this is real. So I can't imagine for my parents trying to A, tell people, and then B, be like, ask for help. How do I find help? He would go through these mood swings of he'd be the best brother one moment to throwing things. And this has always been a very loving household. I've always felt very, very safe in this household, but there were nights where there'd be a screaming match happening, between my parents and Thomas, and I would wake up and go into my siblings' room and just kind of hold the 2 of them there because they didn't know. I think that's where it affected me most, was that I kind of had to grow up faster than I would have liked to. When Thomas passed away, my parents, I've always seen them as 2 of the strongest people I know. To lose a son, I can't imagine. You're not supposed to outlive your child.
I didn't know that people felt the same way that I did. The anxiety got so bad I started getting depressed, and then I would just stay in my room all the time, and I would put this wall up because I was like, I don't want people to know that I'm struggling because I have 2 younger sisters I have to be a good example for, and I need to be a good sister, a good daughter, and I had written this letter. Basically, it was like my goodbye. I just was so tired of living that way. I had had enough. And then a couple of weeks later, my mom found it, and she sat down with me and had a conversation with me.
A lot of the big struggles we're seeing today with young people is a tremendous amount of anxiety. And we're seeing a lot of depression. There's a lot of young people out there who are really struggling with their identity.
To me, I'm just seeing and I'm feeling a lot of pain in the kids that we're working with. These things need to start with family healing. Wrap the family culture around these kids who are in so much pain.
Part of our work here is helping parents to understand how to be able to not just communicate with their kids, but connect with their kids. So I think it's important when a young person is trying to open up, that we're using encouraging words and that we're coming from a place of helping to empower them to speak about what they're feeling and what they're experiencing.
I get along better with my family now. I just want the other kids to know that they can get help, like I did. Because if you don't get help, it's just not going to get any better.
It's so important to get not just the primary mom and dad into the picture, but also, siblings.
It's traumatic to be a brother or a sister when one of your brothers and sisters isn't doing well, and how do you navigate that?
When a lot of adults think about mental health, it has a negative connotation to it. Mental health includes building a positive self-esteem and having confidence in my abilities.
The future for this community, for its children, for our youth and their families in terms of mental health, is to normalize it. KidsTLC is determined to be a major part of making that change in our community. It happens every day on our campus. We have small conversations and big conversations. We have intense conversations.
Just having safe spaces for those conversations to happen, having those resource centers available, I think that's what's helped kind of break the stigma. Is the more people that talk about it, the more that are like, yeah, it happened to me, I have anxiety, I have depression, whatever it is.
I think that the stigma will end eventually, I really do, but I do think it takes a lot from everybody.
We're not there yet. We have to make the conversation comfortable.
Thomas has done a lot, even when he's gone. He's still changing our family every single day. Thomas's biggest message to me, I got tattooed on my body. It was be weird. and that's in his handwriting right there. Be weird, be different, be me, be you.
Just gotta be you, you know?
Where I am now is such a better place.
Imagine a future where our children feel empowered and brave when they talk about their struggles.
Imagine a future where kids have a safe, accepting community in which to heal.
Imagine a future where
There's no stigma around mental health and our children aren't ashamed of what they're experiencing.
Imagine a future where vulnerability isn't seen as a weakness.
it is celebrated as an act of courage.
Imagine a future where all members of our families
Feel supported when trying to help
Their daughter.
Niece.
Nephew.
brother.
son.
This is the world you're helping to create when you partner with KidsTLC.
Can you imagine?